Hi, I'm Ron Reagan, an unabashed atheist, and I'm alarmed by the intrusions of religion into our secular government.
I believe in the strict separation of church and state. If you read your history, ACLU can supply you with some. If you don't know them yet, the founding fathers were not Christians. They were deists. They were agnostics.
Protesting against the notion of America as one nation under God is becoming popular these days.
I feel like the church and state separation is being violated.
But what does our American history actually show?
One of the claims you hear often today is that America wasn't really founded by Christians, and it was really a result of the Enlightenment, which was a secular revolution. Now, sure, there were some Christians involved, but most of the founders were deists and so forth. That's a lie, and it's been well documented that many of the signers of the Declaration of Independence were outspoken Christians and that our early leaders were Christians. But it goes back even earlier than that, to the people who were aboard the Mayflower and landed in Massachusetts. They eventually formed the Mayflower Compact, which was the first governing document in America. And it outlines that governance is through God's providence, first of all, that we have rights only because we're created in the image of God.
When the Pilgrims came here in 1620, they were blown off course, and therefore the governmental agreement they were bound by no longer applied. So they created an agreement for self-government, the Mayflower Compact.
In the name of God, Amen, we whose names are underwritten, having undertaken for the glory of God and advancement of the Christian faith and the honor of our King and country, a voyage to plant the first colony in the northern parts of Virginia, do by these presents, solemnly and mutually in the presence of God and one of another, covenant and combine ourselves together into a civil body politic for our better ordering and preservation and furtherance of the ends aforesaid.
It's an amazing document that children ought to read in schools, but don't.
Interestingly, more men signed the Mayflower Compact, 41 out of 41, than signed the Constitution, 39 out of the 55 potential signatories.
The Mayflower Compact was absolutely critical in the founding of our nation. It set in motion a culture, a mindset of religious freedoms. 150 years later, our founding fathers, who grew up in the wake of the Great Awakening, who had a strong biblical worldview, who understood that God created government, they understood that it was important to put God's plans and purposes in a governmental structure.
If you look back at our roots as Americans, we were founded by Christians and people who wanted to dedicate their lives and their nation to God. And we found that in all the documents that they've produced initially when they were forming their own governments, from the Mayflower Compact to the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence. All of those documents, especially the original with the Mayflower Compact, they acknowledged God-given rights. They acknowledged a higher purpose to life than just individualism or seeking out one's own personal happiness.
Another founding document was the Northwest Ordinance, and that's where they moved west and they had to have ordinances for how to govern out in the Western territories. And that's very heavily influenced by Christian references, biblical references. It's clear that the founders of this country said that we are free here in America only because God has allowed us to do that. And to remain free, we have to bolster our heritage and our Christian foundation. John Adams, our second president, said our Constitution was made for a moral and religious people. It's wholly inadequate to any other. And that's because you need people with self-discipline who are raised to be responsible. You don't get that in a secular society, a top-down government like communist China or old Soviet Union or current manifestations in Cuba and Venezuela, where the people are told what to do.
Early Americans spoke in terms of America as a city on a hill, an analogy derived from Jesus himself in the Sermon on the Mount.
The Pilgrims and the Puritans really leave an incredible legacy for America. I think one of the first great men of our history, even though the United States did not exist yet, was John Winthrop, who wrote that speech model of Christian charity, which is that shining city upon a hill, I think really has, that echoes through our history. That's, Americans think of themselves, we are in an exceptional nation. The things that the Pilgrims came to America for, they came to, build this virtuous community here in America that would be different than the old world. They're seeking to escape religious persecution. It's why I think we developed the idea of religious liberty in this country, which has been so important. The generations, I think, have celebrated the legacy of the Pilgrims, especially this idea of Thanksgiving, which I think is just an incredible American holiday.
The Mayflower Compact, as well as the course of history leading up to our Constitution and our entire revolution, of course helped the framers understand what is so unique about the American experiment, because they came from a long history of the sovereign being the king. And the king then would simply say, here are what your rights are, and your rights come from government, and we can give them at will, and we can also take them away. We don't have a king as a sovereign. We, the people, are the sovereign. Our rights come from God, our Creator, and therefore, we, the people, retain all of our rights.
At the end of the day, Reagan is right. That is, Ronald Reagan, the president.
We are a nation under God, and I believe God intended for us to be free.